and welcome to another episode of the Niche Girls podcast. I'm Kristen,
I'm Yolanda.
I'm Jessie.
and we are so excited to be here for episode number 3. We have a fun topic in store for you today.
Yes.
But before we get started, how are you guys doing? How's your week?
Good. Yeah. Let's see. I went to Epcot, which was so fun. They have a bunch of new fun murals up. And then obviously there's, festival stuff still going on for Flower and Garden. And they released a new menu on one of the Farmers Feast, and it was, oh my God, amazing. I was like, get me everything on the menu. Thank you. She's like, one of everything? And I was like, yes, one of everything.
Yeah.
All of the things. Thank you.
It was great. How about you, Yo?
I just worked a lot. I didn't really do much. I did get to go to the beach one day though, and that was at least that was nice. We didn't get there till 3, but it was a good time. I was happy to go. I haven't gone a long time.
Yeah, relaxing.
Honestly, that's enough beaching. 3 to sunset is perfect timing.
Solid.
Yeah.
It's the only
if
thing
you're
I
there
miss
any
about
earlier,
South Florida is the beach.
Yeah.
So
what about you, Kristen? Do anything fun this week?
It was good. The kids are out of school, so I've been on a mission to keep them really active and not on too much iPad time, too much YouTube.
I love that.
All the parents out there will know it's a losing battle, but I have to fight the good fight while I can. So,
You're trying.
You know what? You're putting in the effort. You're trying.
Yeah, it's worth the effort, honestly.
It's just so hard though too, because it's I want to keep them occupied and spend time with them, but then I have other things to do, so it's this balancing act of do the things you need to do and get work done and keep your kids entertained, and they want to eat every day, which honestly
multiple times a day, or just
multiple times a day they want to eat. And I did a huge grocery snack order too, because I'm they are home, they are snack gremlins, and I'm going to need to feed them. So I did a huge down here in Central Florida, we have the Kroger delivery service, which is amazing. And
I still need to try that, by the way. I still have not done that.
I haven't either, but the person across the street from me is Kroger fiend. The truck is here at least once a week.
They love that.
They love it.
It's really convenient. So yeah, not an ad. We just are busy people, and we like a delivery
I think it's
service.
funny because you buy real groceries, and I think Jessie does too. And it was one thing I noticed at Jessie's house. I was she buys real groceries, but since I work at night, if you come to my home, we only have breakfast groceries. There's no other. There's some sandwich food and lunch meat, but it is rare that I buy meats fresh veggie. There's
foods.
There's no point. We both work at night, so we eat dinner at work often, and whatever we can scrounge up. But it would be a lot different having to feed other people. But yeah, I mean, I often also just if I get home for dinner, I'll just have water. I'm too tired. Well, I think last night I ate for dinner when I got home at 2 a.m. I ate a piece of bread and strawberry ice cream. So,
I mean,
healthy.
Tillamook doesn't have red dye, so pretty exciting stuff.
That's the struggles of working at night, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, just weird, here we are. We're doing it. We're living our lives. Yep. So today we got the idea for this topic because this is something we've posted in our stories over on Instagram a few times. And every time we do, we get a lot of opinions. Yes. There's a lot of
wild.
It's and it's not a divisive topic. It's just people have opinions.
Yes.
And so we're let's chat about this. Let's take it to the people. Let's open it up. So we're going to talk about our favorite World Showcase pavilions today.
Yes.
And why they're our favorite. And we've already run this by each other, so we don't have the same one. Shockingly, we don't have the same ones.
Our first answers were not the same. It's not scripted. No? We didn't just not pick the same one for conversation.
Yeah, we shockingly all came to I thought we were all going to have the same one, and we all came to the table with different ones. So yeah, wild. So here we go.
Yes.
I'm going to call on someone to go first. Really good teacher. All right, Jessie, you go first. Let's talk about your favorite World Showcase pavilion and why.
All right. So my favorite is Japan. And honestly, when you stare at the World Showcase and you look across the lagoon, Japan is just there, and it's beautiful. You can see it from across the lake. It's super tall. They have the drums sometimes, with the Japan drums, and you can hear that almost anywhere in the showcase.
Yeah, true.
It is just, it's mind-boggling to me, how they got it to look the way that they got it to look. And even the plants, all of the plants in the Japan pavilion, like they're like bonsais and like they give me Japan feels. And I'm like, this is I feel like I'm in Japan. I've never been there. I want to go there. I will go there eventually. But it is just one beautiful. Two, I love the food. Japan food is one of my favorites. What, Yolanda? Go for it. You had to say something.
No, just David making noise.
Okay, cool.
She's like, I have a
So
thought, but I'll hold it.
Yes.
but yeah, so the food is just incredible. They have ramen, they have miso soup, they have edamame, they have different hibachis and sushis and frushi, which is a fruit sushi. All of their different festival foods are always so fun. So that's super fun too. Again, like I crave their food whenever I go into there. Like it's just amazing. And their alcoholic beverages are also delicious. They have like the little slushies and stuff, which
The
amazing.
kakigori
And
is really
then
good too.
I
Like
know it's
the
so
frozen
good.
ice
Yeah, those are good.
thing.
Yeah, it's
The
amazing.
cream.
Yeah. And then right now for the festival, they actually have like the water flutes where it's like they
The
make
garden,
little
yeah.
water. Yeah, they make the little water go, and it like rings chimes and bells. And again, like I just love what they do for the festivals. And then there's fishies, which your fishies are so
The
cute,
best. The
and
best.
they're the best. I could watch them all day. And then they have the Japan store, which is Mitsukochi.
You did
Did I
it.
do
Colin, yeah. You
The
win.
Japan store is so fun. They have so many different merchandises in there, animes, Pokemon, like pretty much anything you can think of. And then they have the pearls, which, if you've never done the pearl experience, it is an experience. They count in Japanese for you.
Yeah.
They're really loud on a drum. You get to, it's a whole array of different fun things that they do for you. So if that's something you have not experienced, that's like my go-to thing. Like I always want to get a new pearl, and I have seen someone get a black pearl, and oh my
Ooh,
god, I I want to do it over and over
I've
and over
never
again
seen
to get a
that.
black.
Just to get a black
Just
pearl.
to get a black. I do have a couple. I have like two or three of the white ones, which they're pretty, but they're not a black pearl.
Yeah.
So I
Could
will
be
do that
prettier.
eventually. I will get a black. I will get a
There you
black.
go.
It's gonna happen.
Same feeling, but at Trader Sam's is what I
Yes,
have. Like,
exactly. I mean, me too.
same thing, just Trader Sam's version was
Manifest it.
me
Yeah,
until I
I
finally
know.
got one.
I love
Yeah.
it. But yeah, you can make the pearl into jewelry, which is cool, or you could just take the pearl home with you if you have something else to do with it. And then they have a bunch of cool Japanese snacks and foods and
Yeah.
treats and sweets and drinks, and there's so many fun things. I just love Japan. I wish it wasn't so far away, but you can also take a boat
Yeah.
to get to it a lot quicker. So, you know.
Yeah. I think it's themed really well. I do love the architecture and the detail. And it rates high for me, but there's no attraction there. And
Yeah.
that for me, like there was supposed to be, they
Yeah.
were supposed to have like a Matterhorn style Mount Fuji right in the back there
Yeah.
back in the 80s, and then that got cut and they never did it. I feel like it's just, yeah, all those things you said are true, but the reason it doesn't, I don't even know if it makes it into my top three, is
Yeah.
because there's just like,
No
there's
ride.
no
I definitely wish there
ride.
was a ride. The Kawaii Museum in the back is super cute, but
Yeah.
it's not
I
a
need,
ride.
but I
It's
need
more
something
No.
culture.
new.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's unique merchandise there, don't get me wrong. Like there is, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
authentic, unique merchandise, so I'm not discounting that at all. But
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
not Disney unique merchandise there. Does that make sense? Like
It
there's
Yeah.
does.
no like Japan line like there is in,
Which I
like they
think
just have
is
a new Germany
very
line come
weird.
out. Like there's no Japan ears. Like there's no, so like again, that's big for me. Like I want ears. I
It
need
Yeah.
ears
honestly,
in every country.
It's
honestly,
very
it's more
confusing to me.
universal.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
universal, at least IP.
And I think I like the little difference in, because I can walk into pretty much any store in Epcot and find Disney merchandise. But when I walk
Yeah.
into Japan, it's anime, it's Universal, Mario, like it's all these different things, and I think that's why I'm like, "Ooh, this is different. Let me look at it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they
I
would
don't know.
bring a couple items from like Disney, like Tokyo Disney over. Like maybe like just like one or two
Hello, I
because
wish.
they did that with the France pavilion this past year. And I think they should at least have more like Baymax stuff in there. Just like
I
something.
agree. A
And if
little
we,
bit
I
of
never,
IP, just
I
a
actually,
little
until Kristen
sprinkle.
brought this up, never thought of that, because we're
Yeah.
such an anime house that like it's great. So we spend a lot of time in that store. Also, in terms of drinking around the world, by the time we get to that store, we're almost always buying at least one item. At least, like I bought just a stuffed bow last time I went, because by the time you get there, we've already had a few drinks and we're like in a shopping mood. But the
I
one
want to
thing that
shop.
really disappoints me about the Japan Pavilion, and it's my number three, it's in my top three. I took my engagement pictures there, so it has to be. But
Yeah.
is that they don't? Japan has an amazing street food culture, like amazing. If you go to Osaka, and it's really depressing to me that there's one food stand that's like hidden in the back, and that every year at the all the booths, it's just like, oh, sushi, frushi, and like a sake that not everyone doesn't even like. When there's like just so many different, even like snacks on a stick, they're missing out
Yeah.
on different grilled pieces. They're missing out on the octopus, the takoyaki, just so many different Japan
Yeah.
foods that, number one, are made to be eaten on the go and are not really featured. I don't know about everyone else, but the sit down restaurant has like ramen and noodles. And while a noodle dish is great, both of those are hot and I don't want to eat those while I'm already sweaty.
Yeah.
So it just makes me so sad. And then in terms of like drinks too, everyone always gets like the sake blossom or like the violet sake, and both of those are so sweet. And I feel like they could put such more of an emphasis on sake. Similar in Mexico, you can do like tequila flights. You can find like tequilas you've never found before, and
Yeah.
sake is so interesting. And Japan also has a lot of really unique beers too. So
Yeah, they do.
I wish there was a little bit more focus on the food, because as a foodie,
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah.
Japan has so much to
Me too.
offer.
I mean, they definitely put focus on the food and they are opening a new restaurant, which is nice.
Yeah,
But
but it's
it's,
like
yeah, I mean,
Japan.
it's not
Yeah.
compared to like the streets of Japan. And I also don't think that they don't probably have the staffing for it to have like all
Yeah,
these little side carts. I feel like it's a lot more maintenance than like a restaurant. I feel like
yeah,
restaurant, you can just kind of rotate people where like
you
side
can.
carts are a little more technical.
Yeah,
Um, and then before COVID, they used to have that sake bar in the store,
I know.
which I mean that was really cool too
And I
because yeah,
loved.
I I like sweet drinks but not a
See,
whole
as
lot.
someone who doesn't, yeah, like sake's great for
Yeah,
me.
so it's
Yeah.
there are some things there that I can drink that I do like. But yeah,
Yeah,
the bar in the back, that was what we always went to and then they took it away. So that was kind of disappointing,
yes.
but
Yeah,
One
there's
thing
a
I will credit Japan with, oh, sorry,
no, you go.
is I did not notice how integral Japan was to the showcase until COVID, and
yeah.
it was eerily quiet. If you
Yeah.
walked around the showcase, you did not hear the drums when you were walking through the store.
Nope.
No excitement, just silence. And you didn't realize that you were like conditioned to those sounds if you're a Disney person until they were gone, and like not hearing the drums and it was I
Yep.
did not
Yeah, it
like.
was weird. I agree. I remember, yeah, walking around being like, why is it so quiet over here?
Depressing, yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
No.
like Japan. And I think we're going to see this with a lot of the countries too, even in countries that we don't necessarily talk about. There's always a missed opportunity. So, like, I always
oh
feel like,
yeah.
sometimes Disney gets like 85, 95% of the way there. But I'm like, if they just did this one little thing that's not even that expensive, it would be so
One
much
little
cooler. So, like,
Generally.
so I feel like in Japan, yeah, there's definitely like a little bit of room for stuff. And again, I wish they
Oh
would
yeah.
put like an attraction in there. And an e-ticket
Yeah.
attraction, like a Matterhorn style ride would be really cool,
And
like
It would
Epcot
be
needs
so
it for
cool.
sure.
yeah, and I think that's a lot of people's complaint, not mine. I want to be very clear here. Complaint with Epcot is that like, oh, there's not like a lot for kids to do or there's not like a lot of stuff. Like,
It's a museum.
hello, you have all of this expansion space back there. Like, use it. Use it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's
But
very
yay.
odd to me.
I will say
Um,
when we post this on stories, we do get a good amount of people that say Japan, and for a lot of the reasons
Yeah.
Jesse said, and also just like the peacefulness. Like if you need a spot to relax, there's a lot of seating kind of in
yeah.
the back, and like there's some shaded area, which not every
Shade.
country has a lot of shade. So
Yeah.
there, Japan does rate very high amongst everybody. So it's a good one.
That's true.
All right, Yolanda, what do you got?
Okay, so mine is the United Kingdom.
Mm,
And it's funny that it's this, honestly, because I still start in Mexico. When I'm like showing people the showcase or just any, I always walk toward Mexico. But when I finish, I'll normally like run to Canada and grab something if people are visiting and we're trying to drink around the world, or at least get all the country food wise, and then go back to UK. But why it's my favorite is similar to Jessie in terms of how gorgeous it is. So I try to rate countries weirdly in terms of like how long I can enjoy them. So some countries like you just walk through really quick. Like for like some are literally just a store, or like for instance like Norway really is not that large. You're pretty fast through it, right?
You got a
But
ride.
like I feel like England has so much. They have the little like phone booth you can take photos in. They have a full bar. They have three, four different stores. Three.
Yeah. They all connect.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then it changes a lot with each festival. They do a few different of like the hidden chalk paintings for Festival of the Arts. They always have at least two. So they have like a Peter Pan and a Winnie the Pooh. You used to be able pre-COVID to meet Winnie the Pooh back in Christopher Robin's room. So
Yeah.
I loved that. And it's really gorgeous. The gardens, they have like a manicured kind of maze garden behind the stage. I took photos there as well. And they also always usually have entertainment back there in the little stage. Sometimes it's authentic to UK, sometimes it is just cover bands, but they do try to cover songs that were at least founded there. I also really love how unique the stores are. So similar to the Japan answer, the stores are all very like unique. There's a tea shop. There is a store that sells like Guinness and pub merchandise, and then in the middle of the front store that sells the perfume and Beatles stuff, London stuff, and stuff about the royal family. Behind that is a store that has like family seals and dragons and stuff. And if you look up, so my grandfather's last name is Pugh, which is of Scottish and Welsh descent. And if you can look it up, you can see your family's crest. You can buy it on a ring, on a shirt. I just think that's so fun if you are able to find your name. And not only can you find like UK based names, you can also find a lot of if your name comes from Spain and you're still of Spanish descent, you still might be able to find it. So I just think it's really fun. And other than that, being a drink girly, I love the full bar. And I love that I don't have to get a sugary drink. I can get a scotch on the rocks. And I think
Yep.
that is beautiful. Or I can get a beer. So nice and not like just
diners
like a
there
normal
too.
beer. I can get like a
Yeah.
snake bite. I can get like a cider partial beer. It's supreme. I
Yeah.
love it. And they used to pre-COVID, I used to spend hours in there. I used to spend hours in there because they had the piano lady, and she got moved when they reopened after COVID. And forgive me for not remembering her name. They did like a flower and garden for all the festivals when masks were still required. They would open to where like the back of England was
Yeah.
for different art exhibits, and they had her in there. But she used to play on a really small piano actually in the UK bar, and they had smaller tables that lined all those windows. So you could actually like get out of the rain and everything. And a lot of people didn't realize there were tables in there. So it just,
Yeah.
I loved
I've hit
it.
in there a couple times.
I love it. I just
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic pavilion. But again,
Yeah.
I do wish they have more food. I don't always want fish and chips or a sit down meal. And I think they missed out on not offering
Yeah.
just like a lot more food, a lot more hand pie, a lot of sausage rolls. I can just think of so many things. So
Yeah. I
oh
wish
my
there
god,
was
and rich
more.
and like English pastries. I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just wild. But I think it's beautiful. And I literally have taken photos there before of not me, like just the countries and posted it. And people are like, oh my gosh, where are you? When they people who don't know Disney. And yeah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. I will say I don't eat fish and chips, so that's like that's a pavilion that I typically walk through rather quickly.
Yeah.
I will go through the tea store because I do love me some tea.
Yes.
And then recently,
Mary
Mary
Poppins.
Poppins, and Peter Pan have been meeting back in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool thing to to people that it's random, and you're like, oh, there's Peter Pan. Why are you? Where are you?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We
yeah, it's
also,
cool. I
I've
do
just
like that they have
remembered
like the random meet and greets over there.
the random meet and greets. I just remembered another reason why it's my favorite is because if you were here for the Illuminations episode and why that's my favorite. We used to always walk up to the little host stand by that restaurant and be like, oh, if you went like an hour and a half before opening and asked, a lot of people in Florida don't want to sit outside and you could sit on the patio. And
Yeah.
so almost every time that my family went to Epcot, we would sit on the patio and watch Illuminations and have dinner. And so only walk up though. Like we never made reservations for this. And
That's awesome.
I miss it, but now
Yeah.
I'm not
We
I was
used
doing
gonna
to
say,
that
do
for
that.
Illuminations.
can you still do that?
Hmm.
Do you know?
I don't know if you
Ish,
can
you can
walk up.
always,
Because it's
yeah, you
busy.
can
I mean, it's
always walk
busier
up and
now.
ask. It's just rare that they will have availability since Disney's so
Yeah.
reservation forward now. Um, but it is cool during the winter. They do have heat lamps out there,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
if it's really like quite nippy outside, a lot of people won't even ask to sit outside. So during times when it's either really warm or really cold, you can usually do that. And one of the first fireworks when they set off the actual country ones comes from the UK. So it's a really cool experience if you've never
I
done
love
it.
that.
We used to do that a lot. Same thing growing up. We'd make a reservation and ask to sit outside, and so I have a lot of core memories out there on the patio watching
Yeah.
illuminations. Yeah, I like England. I'm a big Beatles fan, so I've always really liked. I've joked that I would really like to be British. I've done like those ancestry things a million times, like just hoping like one thing, like just
British.
1%, like just one thing, and then I
Yes.
can claim to
Just
be English. Like, come
0.1%.
on,
Have you
something.
been?
So no, nothing, never comes
I'm
back. So
surprised you
I will
haven't
keep
been yet.
trying, so I can identify as English. But yeah, I love that pavilion. And it rates that's probably is in my top 3. But again, I go back to there's no attraction there, and they've teased, the Mary Poppins,
The Mary
whatever.
Poppins one.
Which I love Mary Poppins. I love that movie. I love everything about it. I love it, love it. I
Yeah,
love the history
true.
behind it. I love Walton. I just love it. So if you could
It
put
has
an
good music,
attraction
but
in
yeah.
there and maybe like one more quick service eatery, then like that would catapult up my list.
I mean, honestly, they could also do like they could take the Disneyland Alice in Wonderland ride and easily copy
Yep.
paste. That would
They
be
really could. Again,
And
here
that
we go.
ride's super
Missed
cute.
opportunity, something that
it
would
would
not
be
cost a ton of money.
amazing.
And
That
And
was
it's
one of my
still
favorite
super cute.
rides. Yeah,
yeah,
one of my
and it would
favorite
be
rides when
super
I went to
cute.
Disneyland.
I waited
Yeah.
far too long for that ride, but I still
Me too.
loved it.
Well, you have
Yeah.
to, because if you're a Disney World person, they don't have it out there. So like you're
Yep.
waiting. You're waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got a
again,
lightning lane and I still had to wait.
yeah. I just feel like there's some missed opportunities in England. I do love the tea shop. I pretty much always buy tea when I'm there. I love the
Me too.
garden. It's a great pavilion, and they're all great. Um, but yeah, I just wish that there was like a little bit. Again, coming from like the mom standpoint with kids, there's not a lot for my kids in that one. For me as
Yeah.
an
That
adult,
makes
when I'm there
sense.
with my husband, yes, the bar, absolutely. We can get a full size drink there and not like a little
Yeah.
tiny baby drink. Love that. But like when I'm with my kids, there's not, there's nowhere for
There's
them
not
to
enough.
like, they can kind of run around the gardens, but not if they're playing music. And it's just, I need, as a mother, I need more for them in
Yes.
England for it to be higher up than it is.
We should
I
do a full
totally get
episode
that.
about our feelings on playgrounds and just
We really
Yes, we'll
should.
have a whole discussion on that
like a
too.
full episode about that.
Because,
Yeah,
yeah,
whole
even
Because the
episode.
though
UK
I'm
would
the
be the
only
perfect
one,
place.
yeah,
The UK
Yes.
would be the perfect Alice in Wonderland themed playground. Okay.
there you go. Yeah, and there's a bar
That'd be
there, so
Amazing.
that
perfect.
create the two things: a playground Disney and put a bar next to it. You will solve all your financial problems because
It'd
you
be
have parents
perfect.
like me that have kids that need to blow off steam and adults that also need to blow off steam. So
I
My
love
we're
it.
animal kingdom
available
has
to
it figured
consult.
out.
Just give us a call and we will help you.
Yeah.
All right, Kristen, what's your favorite pavilion?
So my favorite pavilion is Mexico. Duh.
Mexico.
No. So
I
yeah,
feel like
Mexico is
that's
probably the
popular
one.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mexico is the one that most people do say is their
Very
favorite, and we
popular.
do get a decent amount of UK too.
Yeah.
Not as honestly, Japan would probably rate a little, like we get more Japan than UK, but there are a lot of people that say UK. But usually people say Mexico, and I think, in my opinion, it just hits all the boxes. So you have an attraction inside, like a boat ride. It's a nice,
Oh,
relaxing. I
I
mean,
love an
I ride
inside queue.
with an
Yes.
inside
Big.
queue.
I
There's
love
not
boat
usually a very
rides.
long wait for it. It's just we all love Grant. I mean, I'm wearing Plant Donald today, everyone. If you could
Plant
see, if
I
you're
love that.
watching, you know, um, it has a really great, in my opinion, mixture of unique merchandise. I love the ceramic sugar skulls they have there. They have, really authentic stuff, and then they have that IP kind of their own
Yeah,
like
they do.
Disney stuff. So they have that new like Minnie Mouse line with like the skull ears. They do sell a lot of Coco merchandise in there. Just the way that that pyramid inside is themed is absolutely amazing. The smell, I've posted about this on stories 10,000 times.
The
That
Me
smell
smell.
is,
too.
when you walk into the pyramid, is a top 5 Disney smell. It smells like Disney water, which is amazing. Plus tacos combined. It's like I don't care. I could just sit in there and smell it all day, and I will die on that hill because it.
She's
I
like,
wish
this is being dis-
I want to make like scratch and sniff stickers so bad and like harness that power because oh my god, like
it's just Disney water.
Disney water, but it's not just the water. It's like it's mixed with that like Mexican, you know what I mean, like the taco smell, and like oh my god, it's
Yeah.
amazing. And
I mean, there are candle companies that literally make candles for Disney water, so
You know
I know.
what?
you're not
So
far off from a scratch sticker.
no, we're
I'm
not.
just
We should
not sure
contact
about the
some of
Disney
them.
water and taco like smell, but
Yeah, somebody who's a
we can work
professional
on
would
it.
know how to do that. But yeah, so it has like a top 5 Disney smell, it has a ride, it has a lot of shade. There's literally 10,000 places where you can get a margarita of varying tastiness and price point, which I think is important. You can get a really
Yes.
expensive margarita from La Cava, that's
Mhm.
delicious. You can get like a frozen, fruity flavored margarita that's not as expensive, different palette. There's my kids will always eat something there, like you can get nachos, you can get great food. It has a very unique character meet and greet because you can meet Mexican Donald in his
That's true. Wow.
serape and sombrero, which is again an amazing photo op. So it
It
just
is.
like it checks so many boxes, and just where it's located is very convenient. So like you don't have to walk like a million miles to if you just wanted to go and hang out in
Yeah.
Mexico, you can have an entire experience and not have to really do a ton of walking and get really tired. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that would be why it is my favorite, and it's mainly the
Yeah.
smell.
I
It's a smell.
also
Let's be
it's
realistic.
a smell. I also love, like, especially during flower and garden, they do that little pathway with all the orchids.
Mm-hmm.
That pathway
So pretty.
is so
Pretty.
pretty. Has all the orchids and the bromeliads, and I'm like, oh, Florida girl, orchids, bromeliads, look at it all. Like, and
Yeah.
it's just so pretty. I love that section. Like, even if I'm not going into the pavilion, I'm like, I'm just gonna walk just up
They're no,
this.
they're gorgeous. She's talking
Yeah.
about the handicap ramp, if anybody doesn't know, on the right hand
Yes.
side.
The handicap ramp up to the
It is
Yes.
pavilion.
beautiful. So definitely go check
It's
it
so
out.
pretty.
Take it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I
It's
also
so
Yeah.
like
pretty.
I forgot to mention this, like I'm talking about the different price points of margaritas. There's different like dining experiences there too. Like you
Yeah.
always have the food and wine. There's always a Mexico booth, right? Doesn't matter what
Oh,
festival, it's
always.
always there. And then you have the Chose the Day margarita, which has, different they do have snacks there, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, you have
Yeah, they
that.
have really, really, really good empanadas actually.
Yes, that's yes. And then you have like the little quick service place next door. Then you have the restaurant on the
Yeah.
water. Then you have the restaurant on the pyramid. Like you have different price points to a food. So like you can grab something quick or you can have a full on sit down meal. It's not just like the one
Yeah.
option and that's what you have and that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So um I love that too. And again, my kids, they
I love
really like
that.
Mexican food, so nobody fights when we go there and I love that.
That's valid.
I love
Yeah.
that.
They also have the mariachi band for entertainment,
Yep.
which
They do, and
is
it's
also
really
cool.
good.
And
Yeah.
a ring carver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. I forgot all about
There is.
that.
I never thought about that. There is a lot in Mexico. I
There's a
normally
lot in
am just
Mexico.
going for the boat and the margs, but I have
Same.
eaten at the sit down restaurant. It's pretty good. I feel like with most of the countries, because I explained it briefly, but I went to culinary school and I am a culinary person. So with most of the countries, my complaint is like the authenticity of most of the food. But I will say, and like the offerings, I will say Epcot does, not Epcot specifically, Mexico, the booth for every festival does a really good job of number one, bringing in at least one new item every year
Mhm.
and always keeping the festival booth food very authentic flavors, very different, and just like especially their margaritas they do for the festivals are always so original. Their last
Yes.
one they had a toasted marshmallow one; it was amazing. This year they have a clear margarita
Which
for
was so
Flower and Garden that
good.
comes with a cute little glass, and
Mhm.
they really push the flavors. I feel like on the Mexico booth and some other booths for different countries. For instance, like China, they always do a crab rangoon. Like some just really aren't pushing the boundaries, but I feel like the Mexico booth always I'm
Does.
always excited for it. And I'm not always excited for the quick service in Mexico, but I am always excited for the festival booth. So
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
for festival holidays, so good.
Yeah.
I could talk about festival holidays forever. But yeah, I never thought about Mexico having that much, but you're right, it does.
Yeah,
It has a
they have a
lot.
lot. I'm not like a
Oh,
huge fan of like Mexican food, but I do like me some tacos and nachos. So like I can always find something. And then
Yeah.
usually like the Mexican desserts with like their Mexican chocolate flavors,
so good.
that I will always
Yeah.
eat. Like
So
last year
good.
they had the Mexican chocolate bread pudding and it
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
was, oh my
So
God,
good.
delicious. I would
incredible.
love to be able to get a cup of rice pudding somewhere, but that's just
Oh, me too.
me being
That's their
specific.
missed opportunity
I would
there
love
is like
would love the quick service to just have some really good rice pudding.
Rice pudding.
they just had that they have that
But
churro sundae, which is new. Now it's not like authentic in any stretch of the imagination, but like again for kids, like some, that's a good. So they're starting to
Yeah.
maybe
that's a
like,
fantastic option.
yeah, they're starting
Yeah.
to maybe lean into that a little bit. So who knows? Like maybe we will see that in the future. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then there's a
They have a lot.
one more pavilion that whenever again we post this that the people want to say is their
What
favorite.
is
So
it?
I'll bring it up and
Is
then
it
we'll
France?
give. What'd you say?
I said, is it
It
France?
is. It's France.
I knew.
That's my number two.
Yeah. Because again, it hits like all of the things. Like there's a
Okay.
ride, there's different levels of food. There's wine slushies there. So hi, done, done. You don't. We're done. We're done now. There's unique
Wine slushy.
merchandise. They do bring in merchandise periodically from Disneyland Paris. Um, what else? There's
I
everything.
think I'm biased. So I used to really love France, and I think unfortunately I grew a dislike toward France only from working in the blogging space for a moment. It just took a very long time to walk through. I had to check every
Yes.
store, I had to check every menu. Oftentimes the line was so long at the bakery I couldn't check the menu. That gave me anxiety. So I think I did originally like France and I grew to dislike it. I'm realizing that just like I just had this
Just
aha
now.
moment. I used to during my DCP,
Yeah.
I used to hang out there all the time, and now after just working in the parks for a couple years, I'm like, I don't like France anymore.
Yeah.
Love the country, been there, gorgeous, 12 out of 10. But yeah, the pavilion it doesn't hit for me anymore, and I feel bad about that.
You
But
need
I
to
just
heal. You need to heal.
and you know what? You
Yeah.
know why it doesn't hit for me because it has so much. So I understand why other people like it,
Yeah.
but I just grew to be a little bitter toward it.
Yeah, but
I
yeah, I
get
mean
that.
that bakery
You
in the
know,
back is a great spot for breakfast. I don't think I've ever had anything bad from there. Unique
you can buy a
merchandise,
loaf
but
of bread.
then also IP related merchandise. You can buy Louis Vuitton bags there, which
They
not that
have
I'm buying Louis
Disneyland
Vuitton
Paris
bags, but
merchandise.
hmm,
I know. Disneyland
Disneyland
Paris
Paris merch.
merchandise.
yeah,
I know. I'm hoping they bring some Japan merchandise
I'm just
to
asking for
Japan
the Mickey
in
sunglasses, and I
Epcot.
don't
I
think it's
know.
too much.
Just
I know.
anything. I feel
Or
like
the Baymax ones. Give me Baymax. Why don't we sell more sunglasses?
Give me all the Baymax.
I didn't they used to
What?
I feel like didn't they
My
I'm like
other
Didn't
favorite
they
is
used
Germany,
to?
so I'm
trying to
surprised with the
carve
French
out
one.
I'm trying to find like a core memory that's like hiding beneath like years of
What are you
stuff
like
down there.
looking for? Didn't they used to? They used to do like paintings, I think, of
No, I feel
people.
like they used to. Okay, so when I was a kid, now I'm going
I don't
back.
know if the show with the chairs came back. Did
Mm,
that come back?
I remember when I
No,
was a
but I miss
kid,
it.
I bought a Japanese, like like from Winnie the Pooh, a rabbit stuffed animal there. They had these like Winnie the Pooh. Now I'm going back like into probably the early 90s here, so just bear with me.
Fair
But I
chance that I'll
feel like
remember
they
it.
probably, I think they, I don't want to say they had Tokyo Disney merchandise, but I want to say they had more like Disney themed merchandise from Japan there because I remember this like plush that I got was like he had Japanese tags and it was this whole
I feel
line
like
of
you might be right.
so I feel like maybe they used to do some more of that in Japan and then they maybe got away from it and went more into other things. I don't know. I'd have to maybe research that and we'll have another episode about Kristen's memories of the Japan Pavilion from
I love
1991,
that.
but
I know.
It
But
might
like
have
one of
something
my
to do like with resellers too, like and knowing that Tokyo Disneyland is so popular, they just might not want to get into that.
maybe, I don't
maybe.
know.
Yeah, of having to
But
restock constantly.
one of my friends is from Japan. Her and her daughters, they go there all the time, so they'll bring me back stuff. And when they were over there, I think it was like 2 years ago, they brought me back. I should have brought it as a prop, but they brought me back a little goofy Nuimo. And he, or not Nuimo, sorry, Tsum Tsum. It was a Tsum Tsum, not a Nuimo.
I love the Tsum Tsum era.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was a little goofy Tsum Tsum.
Yes.
And he is sushi. So he's on a plate
Wait,
and he's dressed like sushi and he has a little wasabi next to him.
I
Stop it.
love him and I don't
He's
even
in my
see him.
living room.
So
I have a little zoom of Big Al from Country Bears.
Oh, amazing.
It's Zoom era was top peak, but at
Amazing.
least the Numos you can like their arms. You can
Jessie,
Yeah. I like New Emos better, but
can you post a picture of our stories in that when the day that this airs? We'll post a picture of stories of the Goofy Tsum for you guys to see him because
yes, absolutely,
I need to see
so
that.
cute.
I love it.
Also, if anyone's going to Tokyo Disneyland soon, I'm not sure if it's Tokyo or Shanghai, but one of them has the headbands that you make out of little characters.
Yes,
I know.
You can choose your little characters. Actually, I think it's Shanghai because it has like Shelly May and Duffy. But I'm obsessed and I'm begging Disney.
I feel like they used to have more Duffy and Shelly May stuff too in Epcot in general, and they completely wiped out all of that, which again is an opportunity.
Ziploc sponsored everything.
I know.
Sorry, Ziploc. I appreciate how great your products are, but the little suitcase isn't doing it for me. I loved my fan. It had two purposes. The Duffy fan. I have those too. We can put those on the story. I have so many.
Yes, we'll post some good stories so you guys can see.
We will.
I'll try to find my rabbit too. I still have him. He's busted, but I have
great. But the Duffy fan.
There you go.
I love it.
The Duffy fan. You could during summer. You could literally fan yourself while getting cute little stamps around the ship. There was nothing better.
There you go.
I love that.
All right. Well, you heard it from us. We'll run the poll again. Maybe we'll run it again when we air this, so that way you guys can take what we've said and then tell us what you think. If we've changed our minds at all.
Also, put up R3 and then do like honorable mention Japan and see what people vote for.
I love it.
Honorable mention France.
Yeah. I love it. We'll do that. All right, guys. So head to Instagram, look for those polls. We're going to put them up. And as always, for listening to this podcast, you get a 10% discount on the store. Shopthenicheco.com with code podcast10. I hope you enjoyed listening. We love that you come and listen to us every week. So thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Take care.
Yay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.